officially know the 2022 NBA draft order, and now that I've had some time to think it over, here is my 2022 NBA mock draft 2.0 with some surprises ahead, so stay tuned. And we have the Orlando Magic starting off with the #1 overall pick, and I think it's between the top 3 guys here in Jabari, Chet, and Paolo, but I have the Orlando Magic going with Jabari Smith Jr. I think he's just the best overall fit for the team, as well as having high upside. And can you really turn down one of the best big man shooting prospects we've had possibly ever in an NBA draft? I don't think so. He also has a ton of defensive potential, and I could really see him becoming a Kawhi type of player if he really gets that handle tightened up as well. So I think this is a no-brainer pick for the Orlando Magic at #1. I think he fits in perfectly with the team with their bunch of guards, and he slots in perfectly right next to Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter as well. So I have the Orlando Magic going with Jabari Smith at #1. And at #2, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder going with Chet Holmgren. This is a real swing for the fences type of pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And obviously I think they're the team to make that pick considering how many picks they have going forward. I think they can afford to take a gamble here and try to take the guy with potentially the highest upside in the entire draft. Obviously there are concerns about his weight, but he does have a lot of skill at his size, and he's looking to be a really good rim protector in the NBA, and that's exactly what the Thunder need, is a good rim protector inside. So I have them going with Chet Holmgren. At #3, we have the Houston Rockets, and they are selecting Paolo Banchero, and this is a great option for Houston. Obviously they don't have to do any of the hard work here. They just take the best guy out of the 3 that were in the top 3, and he is a fantastic scorer, probably the most NBA ready prospect in the draft. Like I said, fantastic scorer off the dribble, off the catch, can really play make. He's a fantastic passer, and I think that's really underrated in his game. He can run the offense entirely through him, which is really good because you would like to see Jalen Green maybe get off the ball a little bit. He did not have much of a creator at the point guard position last season, so I think that it would be really nice to, use Paolo as a playmaker, almost like a Draymond Green type of player, but obviously more of an offensive threat. He does have to improve his defense and shooting, but the Houston Rockets probably are not looking to compete anytime in the next couple years, so he can definitely improve on that as well. And I think that's a fantastic duo to build around in Jalen Green and Paolo Banchero. At #4, we have the Sacramento Kings, and they are going to actually trade this pick to the Detroit Pistons in exchange for Jeremy Grant in the #5 pick. And they're also going to include Richaun Holmes, Justin Holiday, and Maurice Harkless in that deal. So basically you have Detroit and Sacramento switching places here, and Sacramento getting Jeremy Grant as well. I think that's a fantastic trade for them. They need to improve their defense, especially on the inside and on the wings. And I think Jeremy Grant is a fantastic option. Him and Harrison Barnes, as well as Domantas Sabonis in the front court, is a really nice front court for Sacramento. And obviously they just really want to compete now. They haven't made the playoffs in 16 seasons, the longest drought in NBA history, and they want to break that as soon as next year. So I think this is a no-brainer type of move for them. And with the 4th pick, I would have Detroit selecting Jaden Ivey. This is basically the reason why they trade Grant to Sacramento. If they want Ivey that badly, which I think they could possibly, I think he would make a fantastic backcourt partner with Cade Cunningham, giving them 2 really good drivers and scorers in the backcourt. He does have to improve on his shooting and his defense a little bit, but obviously that all comes in time. In this deal, they also get Richaun Holmes, which is a good option, whether he is starting or backing up Isaiah Stewart at center. And I think this is a really good deal for the Pistons. I mean, you get value out of Grant in a solid role player, as well as a top pick in the guy that you want potentially. And then at number 5, we had Sacramento going with the win now player in Jeremy Grant, getting him in that Detroit trade. So now I think they do a swing for the fences pick here and pick Shaedon Sharpe, and he has potential to be an absolute stud in the NBA on both ends of the floor, not just scoring. Obviously he has the talent to create his own shot, and he's a really solid shooter. The concerns about him are basically that he's kind of an unknown. You didn't see him play against top tier competition in the G League, overseas, or even in college, because he did not play at Kentucky. So it's a little bit of a mystery, but I think the workouts will say a lot about him. And I think this would be a fantastic pick for Sacramento. I think they really need to swing for the fences on one of these guys in order for something to pan out there and give them a little bit higher of a ceiling. At number 6, we have the Indiana Pacers, and they are going to select AJ Griffin. And I think this is another really good pick. This is a smart pick for them. They need wings, especially with TJ Warren leaving them potentially in free agency this offseason. I think he would be a no-brainer. He is a 3-and-D prospect right now, and he has the potential to get better if he improves his handle and shot creation. He has a lot of similarities to guys like Jaylen Brown, maybe Paul George when he was younger. And I think he would fit in really nicely with Tyrese Halliburton and that young core that they are building in Indiana. At number 7, we have the Portland Trailblazers, and I did consider them maybe trading this pick, but I think the perfect guy fell to them in this scenario, and that is Keegan Murray. He is a ready to win now prospect. I think he can start for them at the 3 or the 4 immediately. He's a really good scorer, really good pick and roll guy, can pop a little bit. He's a really solid defender too, which Portland really desperately needs. And most importantly, they just need win now players. So I think he is the perfect fit in Portland next to Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, and all of those guys around there, as well as Josh Hart, which was a really solid pickup at the trade deadline. So I have them going with Keegan Murray. At number 8, we have the New Orleans Pelicans, and I have them trading this pick, and I have them trading it to Indiana for Malcolm Brogdon and the number 31 pick in this same draft. And I think it's a really good deal for them. I think they get exactly what they need, which is a steady veteran point guard. Brogdon is no slouch at all. He averages around 20 points a game, around 7 assists. I mean, that's really, really good value for a number 8 pick for a team that has definitely expedited their rebuild recently. They took the Phoenix Suns' number 1 record in the entire league to 6 games in the first round of the playoffs, and I think they're ready to compete now, especially if Zion Williamson comes back healthy next season. So I have them trading it to Indiana for Malcolm Brogdon. They basically give up the 8th pick, Devontae Graham's salary, Jackson Hayes, Garrett Temple, and the number 41 pick in this draft. So really not much in terms of value. I mean, they're giving up Jackson Hayes, who actually has to get paid not this summer but next summer, and I don't know if they would really want to pay him all that much money, considering he hasn't shown too much other than being a rim runner and a decent rim protector. But I think it's good value for both teams. So with the 8th pick, I have the Indiana Pacers selecting Benedict Mathurin. And I think this is another really solid pick, another guy that can contribute right away. Really a 3-and-D type player again, but he does have a little bit more of a ball handling game as well. I think he can definitely create off the bounce. Definitely reminds me a little bit of a Jason Richardson. Not quite as athletic, but when he was older, where he would really spot up for threes, come off screens. I think he has a lot of scoring potential, and I think he's just going to be a good two-way player, just like AJ Griffin. And I think if you have multiple of those guys, that leads to success. So I have them selecting Benedict Mathurin. At number 9, we have the San Antonio Spurs. And I have them kind of going with a surprise pick here in Ousmane Dieng. And he played in Australia this past season, or I think it was New Zealand, sorry. And he showed a lot of potential. He's kind of a raw prospect, but these Spurs do have a history of picking guys like this and taking a chance and actually succeeding with them a lot of the time. And I think he would be a really good fit for them at the 3 or the 4 spot. He is a really, really good defender. He has a lot of upside on the defensive end. I mean, he gets in passing lanes. He's a great weak side shot blocker. I think he has a lot of potential to play make as well. He has a pretty decent handle. I think if he improves on his shooting a little bit and his decision making, then he can be a real stud for San Antonio. At number 10, we have the Washington Wizards, and they need point guard help, so I have them selecting the best point guard prospect on the board right now, which is Dyson Daniels. And he just reminds me a lot of Lonzo Ball in terms of his 3-and-D point guard with really good passing. I think that's a perfect fit next to Bradley Beal in that backcourt. I think you need a guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands a lot of the time, but can play make if he needs to. And I think you need a guy that can cover up for Beal's mistakes on defense, and I think that Dyson Daniels has the potential to do that, so I have them selecting him. At number 11, we have the New York Knicks selecting probably the best player on the board at this point, which is Johnny Davis. And I think he would be a really nice fit next to RJ Barrett on the wings. He can handle the ball a little bit, really solid defender, which Tom Thibodeau will love. And he's a contribute right now type of player, which I also think Thibodeau will love. Obviously, the Knicks are not trying to tank. They're definitely trying to be a play-in, playoff type team. And I think him and Barrett on the wings, along with Randall on the inside, will be really good for them. He does have to improve his 3-point shooting, but he's great in the mid-range. So I think he'd be a great pick for the Knicks if he falls to them. At number 12, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder once again, and I think they will pick Jalen Duren here to get more big man help. Obviously, this is what they need. They have a lot of guards. They have a decent amount of wings. They need guys in the paint that can rebound, that can defend the interior, and Duren is a great player at that. That is basically what he is. He does have potential to be a little more if he can improve his playmaking and maybe develop a mid-range shot like Bam Adebayo. But him and Chet Holmgren in the front court, along with Giddey and Shea in the backcourt, and Lou Dort at that small forward spot, that is a really good lineup going forward for OKC. At number 13, we have the Charlotte Hornets, and I did consider putting in a trade here, but I don't think they'll be that active during the NBA draft in the trade market. I think they will definitely be more active in free agency and in the trade market during the off season. Basically like a wait and see what happens, especially with guys like DeAndre Ayton or Rudy Gobert. So right now I have them picking Malachi Branham, and I think he's a really good fit. I think they need more scoring from that 2-guard spot. I know they have Terry Rozier, but he's definitely more of an undersized guy, definitely more of a point guard type of player, potentially even 6-man. I think Branham would be really good, help them on the defensive end. He does have to improve there a little bit, but he does have the size to be a good defender at the length as well. He's a really good shooter, and that never hurts to have too many good shooters on your team. And he's a really good ball handler that can take pressure off of LaMelo Ball in the playmaking department as well. So I think he'd be a really good pickup at 13. And at number 14, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers going with a win now prospect in Ochai Agbaji. And I think he would be a really good pick for them. Like I said, he's ready right now to contribute. He was a senior in college, won the national championship, and he's a really good defender. 3-and-D type of player, really good slasher as well. I think he would play really well off of Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, and they need a guy that can guard the best player on the other team in terms of the wing position at that 3 spot, and I think he would fit in perfectly there alongside Isaac Okoro. They can kind of, go back and forth with who's starting or coming off the bench. So I think it's a good fit for Cleveland. And we have one more bonus pick. I decided to include Charlotte at number 15, considering they are a lottery team and this is their second pick. So here I have them taking Mark Williams because they just need any center, and you can't really trust them being able to pick one up in free agency. The free agent center market isn't that great outside of DeAndre Ayton this offseason. So I think taking Mark Williams would be a good option. They already have Kai Jones off the bench, so I think that he would be a good option here. He has great length, good form on his jump shot that can definitely improve. He's a good rebounder, rim protector, the usual type of traditional center skill set, but I think Charlotte could use any size that they can get at this position, so they take Mark Williams at number 15. So my question to you guys this week, do you think that any of the lottery teams will make a trade during the NBA draft, either moving up, down, or out of the draft, potentially trading for a star? Who knows? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Also give me your opinions on my mock draft 2.0, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring that notifications bell, as it really helps the channel get through the algorithm. And guys, most importantly, have a great rest of your day.